Chrysler has a turbine plane engine in it. So hello everybody, welcome back to Six Cars. We are at the Detroit Concours d'Elegance from Hagerty, the automotive lifestyle and car insurance brand. And we are at the Detroit Institute of Arts to be exact. It's a really cool setting. There's a lot of interesting cars. There's some really cool American concept. We have some supercars, classic Europeans, a bit of everything. We're going to do a big walkthrough today and show you guys everything there is to see. So over here we have an original 427 Cobra, always nice, from Broad Arrow Auctions. And the estimate they have on that is 1.2 to 1.4 million, so not too shabby. And we've got another very rare Mustang over here, the Boss 429. Nice. So on the supercar side of things, we do have a very nice Ford GT Heritage Edition. I do really like this livery. I like the 98 and the gumball. And of course, the red seats. So cool. Red paddle shifts too. So nice Huracan beside the Ford GT. And in front of us, really nice purple SVJ Aventador. I personally think this is the color to go with on the SVJ. Something about purple just looks so good on Lamborghinis. And we've got the Ferrari 512 BB beside it. A very nice, rare, collectible Ferrari and just a beautiful design. Really like this one. So just down the road from the SVJ, we have this SLR Stirling Moss from Mercedes. We're obviously all very familiar with the regular SLR McLaren. This is a very special speedster variant of it. It obviously looks very different from the regular one. So I'll take you around and show you all of the amazing cues of this very rare car. So yes, obviously based on the regular SLR, but this was meant to commemorate Sir Stirling Moss. He drove the original 300 SLR from 1955 to the victory at the Mille Miglia. So that's why you have things like the roll hoops on the back, the side exit exhaust. Everything is supposed to mimic a modern version of the 300 SLR. And Stirling Moss, obviously such a legendary driver. It's only fitting that he had a legendary car named after him. And if you'd like to know just how rare the SLR Stirling Moss is, there are only 75 of them ever built. So this is a very special car. So just beside that amazing SLR Stirling Moss, you've got something here called the Ford GT Signature Series. So obviously it looks different visually just with the design on it, but there does seem to be some other modifications just beyond that design. Things like, I'm not sure if this carbon fiber chin spoiler, front splitter here is on the regular Ford GT, but that does look quite different to me. But there are a few other things on this car I'll show you around. So obviously a lot of detail on this modified Ford GT. Things like the black multi-spoke HRE wheels. A couple other things to note. It's obviously a very modified exhaust, just the way it's hanging out of the back. Bigger rear diffuser. So this is called the Signature Series. So we have things like this nice sublime green Plymouth GTX in the muscle car section. Nice orange Pontiac GTO, the Judge variant, very cool. Walk further over this way. Very nice Boss 302 Camaro, and we have an Oldsmobile 442 Cutlass down there as well. Let's have a closer look at the engine under the 302 Boss. Nice. Everything is in really good shape at this concourse. Obviously, it's a judged event, but the cars are looking very good here. And it's definitely cool to see these muscle cars sort of in their natural habitat. This is the Motor City after all. So very cool. So in front of us here, we have one of the original Hot Wheels, actually. This will be the Dodge Diora, based on an A100. So yeah, one of the original Hot Wheels ever made. Obviously a weird opening mechanism. We'll take a closer look at that in a second. But definitely a lot of weird styling cues to it. Got these weird sort of vents or intakes sticking out of the side. And it is a pickup truck back end with this huge wooden plank going through the back of the leather cover. It is a very strange, interesting truck, but very, very cool. But yeah, let's go back to the front, take a look at that weird front opening mechanism. So really bizarre opening mechanism on the original Diora. That's based on a Dodge A100, but turned into a Hot Wheel. So the entire windshield opens up like a clamshell. The front bumper sort of between the headlights swivels open, and then you can see the steering wheel actually turns to the side so the driver can get in. And the passenger is pretty tight. I don't think they had the passenger in mind when they came up with that. But it is just so bizarre. And you see the dials and everything are on the side of the window over there. Just crazy. We have another Hot Wheels car here beside the Diora, actually. This is a Studebaker Roadster, which I believe is nicknamed Golden Hawk because if you are a Forza Horizon player like myself, this, I believe, was in Forza Horizon 4. So here it is in the flesh. It's pretty bare bones inside, obviously. Definitely an old hot rod, but check out the back, just how crazy it is. That wedge shape sticking out at the end. Really, really cool looking car. We have the Maserati Ghibli from 1970. Just a really, really cool fastback design. Sort of reminiscent, almost like a longer Miura, I would say. Just a little bit bigger, but yeah, that's a really, really cool design. Quite like that. And we've got another Dino 308 GT4 in white. Nice. Here's a bit of a lesser known Lamborghini now. Actually, we have two of them. So this is the Lamborghini Espada. I'm not sure if it was the first, but one of the original four-seat Lamborghinis. Obviously, four-seater and Lamborghini are not heard together in the same sentence very often, but this was it. This was Lamborghini's Grand Tour, 3.9-liter V12 front engine. Yeah, it's a really cool design, I think. It's definitely different. It's not for everybody, but I think it's really, really cool. And especially seeing two of them together, I think is pretty unique.
And talk to us about what we're happening. We just had Dream Cruise here.
And here we go. It's always good to see another Ferrari F40, what I still consider to be the best Ferrari ever made. And might ruffle a few feathers. I know there's a lot of F50 lovers out there, but I don't know. I think this is just the essence of what a Ferrari is supposed to be. And just never get tired of seeing them. It's so good.
It's like every 2,500
So yeah, tons of very cool, interesting, bizarre sort of concepts at the show too. That's what I really like about it. This is the original LeSabre concept from GM. There's so many weird design cues on it. This bizarre sort of front grille sticking out. I'll show you guys the back of it too. It's even cooler back there. Yeah, you can see on the back of the LeSabre concept, that whole design shifts right to the back, and it sort of looks like jet propulsion back here almost with that massive rear taillight. And what's really cool is the exhaust is actually built in just under the lights, right into the design of the back bumper. It's so cool. So this one's really interesting. Another sort of quirky classic American car, a 1954 Corvair. It's really interesting. I don't know too much about this one, to be honest, but it's got the front end of the original Corvette. But then when you come to the back, that front end's obviously very misleading. because it has this very sort of notched back rear end.
It was too close.
I was going to zoom in here and show it still has Corvette badging everywhere, but obviously the rear end is so different. I've never seen anything like this before, so that is pretty cool.
So they were very, very short-lived with the...
So more American concept cars, really cool ones too. There's been no shortage of Mustangs on this trip, obviously with the release of the 7th gen Mustang, but this is one of the original Mustang concept cars, the Mustang 1. You can see just how much the design has changed over the years. Obviously this was a speedster looking design, that rear roll hoop. And interior is pretty bare bones, but we have another Mustang concept beside it. Let's go have a look at that one. Yeah, you can see this is the Mustang 2 now. Just how the front end is just a little more smoothed over at the front. Different headlight design, obviously, than what we're used to on the production Mustang. So obviously, this one is looking more like the original Mustang. Now it's the Mustang 2 concept. You see just how much the car changed throughout the concept production life cycle. From the Mustang 1 to the Mustang 2 concept. Got some more European classics over here. We have the original Mercedes 300 SL Gullwing. Never get tired of seeing those, obviously. Just beside that, we've got the Alfa Romeo Montreal, which is a car that we don't really see too many of, actually. So that is nice to see, but it's a really, really cool design. It's interesting here. You can see the rear ventilation here. Almost looks like a Lancia Stratos because this is a Bertone designed car, just like the Stratos. You can obviously see where there would be certain design cues that might carry over from other Bertone cars. Yeah, Montreal is really cool. And really, really nice E-Type convertible just behind the Montreal M300 SL. Just amazing condition on the E-Type. And this one is a bit of an oddball. This is an Auto Union DKW. So Auto Union, obviously, you can see eventually turn into Audi, just going by the badge. But this is a very old sports car from them that actually set some speed records at Monza. That's why it is named after the Monza circuit. They did a multiple laps. I can't remember how many. Just did my quick fact search on this car, actually. But it did set an average speed of 140 kilometers an hour around the Monza circuit, which at the time for production cars was a average speed record. So that's pretty cool. Very interesting looking car, the DKW Monza. Just rolling up to the front of the Detroit Institute of Arts, we have all of the class winners from the Detroit Concours d'Elegance. That's Shelby GT350, Alfa Montreal, and of course back there we have the SLR Stirling Moss.
GT350 by Paul and Lauren Fix of Williamsville, New York.
And this is kind of especially relevant to me. I'll give a little plug here. This was also Buick's first modern overhead valve V8 engine known as a Fireball V8. This was Buick's 50th anniversary car. The Skylark, it was named after a song, actually. There are various disputes as to where the name came from, but it was named after a song. This was GM's Motorama car of 1953, along with the Oldsmobile.
You can hear why this is so different. This Chrysler has a turbine plane engine in it. Obviously never made production.
I'm going to read this, so I apologize for doing that. But I don't want to miss some important points about the car. This Ford was owned by Steve Wells, who purchased it in 1953 and used it as the greatest photo They were good because of the fastest car of all time is the Buick PSS. And the reason it is because it should have never existed.
And there goes that beautiful Delahaye after the SLR Stirling Moss. Nice way to cap off the inaugural Detroit Concours Delegance. Good show, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. It's like an actual plane. It's so funny.
I know. You was called too.